Hello! Welcome to the second installment of Show of Force Majeure. I had to look up how to say that word because I'm not a Francophile. I have got my glass of wine. Cheers. I hope that you have yours too. For those of you asking the vintage, like $16 feels like a solid luxury spend for me on wine. So, one eyebrow all the way up. I'm drinking bread and butter, or from your perspective, Rittenderb, and I really like it. This week, we're doing prose. So I'm thinking about just kind of alternating forms every Thursday night at 7:45. And this time around, I'm doing creative nonfiction. For those of you who are unfamiliar with that genre, it's fine because it's a super lame name. But it's essentially just true stories that are told with all the artfulness that you can muster, you know? So it's like taking a fiction writer's tools and putting them towards the service of a particularly like funny or engaging real-lived story. You know what's stupid? I am in my apartment by myself. I still get nervous. Like there's no stage. Why would you have stage fright? Okay. This is a short piece called Wasp. Man is coming over, and there is a wasp in my apartment. The screen on the kitchen window has been missing for 2 summers, and I've been meaning to call the caretaker every morning for hundreds of days in a row. There must be a nest somewhere nearby, because once a week or so, a heavy wasp flies in and loses himself in my 1-bedroom apartment. His long black limbs hang slack like a puppet or a drunk, and there's a bad buzz every time he bounces off the ceiling, increasingly frantic for an exit. I've stalked these wasps around the living room, rolled magazine in hand, but I've never swatted. I'm like a resistance fighter with a one-shot pistol. I'm just too afraid to miss. He's flying cursive circles above me as I stir the pasta sauce, half crouched. I glance up every few seconds to keep an eye, and I'm already planning what I will say to man to diffuse the fact that a romantic dinner involves an aerial threat. My phone buzzes with a text. Man is here now, coming up the steps, and I cannot find the wasp. This does not always mean that they are gone. I close the window, scan the ceiling, listening. I return to the stove and stir more nervously, aware of my bare neck and arms and feet. And it occurs to me that maybe there is no wasp's nest. Maybe there is just one wasp. And when I open the window to vent the heat from the stove, night after night, he is drawn to the light and the scented steam, and he passes through the plane where my screen should have stopped him, a plane he cannot be asked to know about. And as he rises towards where the sky should be, there is ground above him. And below him, a dark shape moving. This could not possibly be the same girl, could it? The same girl as last time, waiting for the same tall man who stays very late but almost never spends the night, never puts his own dish in the sink, comes and leaves always empty-handed. She can't have fallen for that old trap again, can she? The girl too shy to strike, always ducking from a little sting. So where are you guys tuning in from? Oh, sweet, there's a clapping emoji. Yeah, I have to say that the silence is sort of deafening when in the place where the applause should go if you did a good job. Hey, Wisconsin, Minneapolis. I know some people had stayed up late in the UK, so special thanks. This is an essay, the next one, that I'd been thinking about including in my first hardcover collection, which was called My Own Devices. And not too many essays were cut. I was kind of building as I was going. But this was one that ended up being pulled to find another home someday. This is called To the Pickpocket on the Platform at Broadway and Lafayette. And I wrote this as I was thinking about moving to New York. I don't know who you are, which is why you are good at your job. I should be easy to spot. I am standing in the small crowd that is gathered around a man in fingerless gloves, playing a piano, whose upper register is tuned to several cents flat of A440. I am wearing glasses and combat boots, messy curls, and silver rings on most fingers. I'm listing a little because I have already had several glasses of wine. There is an iPhone 6 in my back pocket. I am fully immersed in the music and in the brownie that I just purchased at the convenience store on the corner, which is a co-branding venture between Oreo and 7-Eleven, and it is an incredible treat. And the man in fingerless gloves singing at the piano, he's an incredible player. He's very quick, but with small pauses for the heartbreak chords. And according to the cardboard sign propped against his soft sack of dollar bills, his name is Andrew. He's got shapeless clothes and a shapeless beard. And in my leather jacket and Chardonnay buzz, there is no way for me to communicate. I'm like you, Andrew. I know about the pauses. I'm not just another civilian waiting for your next run up the keyboard for you to bang with both hands at the end. I arrange my face into an analytical expression and watch his fingering so that he will see I am also musical and sensitive. But despite my strenuous telepathy, he doesn't acknowledge our connection. He goes on singing with a straight face, eyes fixed dead ahead. And of all the people around the piano, he seems to be least moved by the music. I think maybe he'd prefer to play something more difficult, something without words that none of us would recognize. I think probably he wouldn't like me back. I usually guard myself from feelings like these, because they are too common to be interesting, and because they don't tell very well. But I am reeling at this city. The concentration of talent and intelligence and money and want of money. This place has so many players that it can afford to keep this guy underground at a flat piano chained to a railing where he can grow bored and bitter, writing instrumental interludes to spare his voice when the trains roar in. Where I live, in Minneapolis, this guy would be a minor king, hard-pressed to find a bar that allowed him to pay for his own drinks. Those kind of outsized sentiments, they make people vulnerable. And I am so distracted by them that I have yet to realize I am standing on the wrong platform, that the train I want to take is one level up, and the trains rushing past are F trains headed far from where I hope to go. Maybe you are in league with Andrew. When I'm sober and alert, I know enough to swing my backpack around to the front when I walk past a good street act, because it's too easy for a hand to slip into a pocket unnoticed while the mind is engaged by spectacle. It is possible, pickpocket, that he is your cover and that you two split the take every night. Or maybe you have stolen from his bag of money in the past, confetti dollars flailing after you. Maybe you stole the tips off his gloves. Or maybe you have already gone home tonight to count your haul. A neat stack of iPhones on your coffee table nearly a foot high, and beside it a tower of Samsungs, and then several squat little piles of credit cards and Metropolis in miniature. Books and movies have led me to believe that petty thieves work established turfs. If that's true, you must have some skill and some seniority, because this is a major stop. Granted, it's not Times Square, where big lens cameras hang off the shoulders of tourists who walk with paper maps in front of them like sails and carry cash in bulging flesh-colored garments. Still, Broadway and Lafayette seems pretty good. I am not performing so well at the moment. I've decided to move here, though that decision is still spreading from the executive center of my brain to the other departments. I have ruined the relationship that kept me in my hometown, or maybe it has ruined me. Or maybe it started ruined, and I am finally out of ideas on how to unruin it. I am preemptively nostalgic about what I'll be leaving behind, and I am sensitized by loneliness, and I'm drunk, and I'm half lost, and I'm totally inattentive, and I have been warned a dozen times about keeping my phone in that pocket. So come and take what's rightfully yours. I wouldn't even feel it. But you don't. I go and I get my 5th glass of wine, no blackout, though the lights flicker, and I return home with my iPhone teetering out of my pocket as if it were contemplating a jump. So maybe you were in league with me tonight. Maybe you leaned against your pillow. Oh, shit. Maybe you leaned against your pillar, Andrew's piano echoing off the tiles, and allowed a new player to fumble through the score. Oh, wow. Cheers. Let's do a little housekeeping, shall we? These shows don't run themselves. Like last time, I'm hoping to raise a little bit of cash from those who have some extra spending money for the Domestic Abuse Project. I have a friend who works there, and as you can imagine, an order to stay home that's really hard and poses new and unforetold difficulties for people who weren't safe in their domestic environments to begin with, yeah. So, if you're broke, just hang out. If you're not broke, here is the Venmo information for the Domestic Abuse Project. And I am totally happy to report that last time we raised thousands of dollars. Isn't that awesome? Oh, I was delighted. And, heartened and moved by your generosity. So thanks. And then we'll just go ahead and fly that away. Okay, now it's also the time that we're just gonna venture towards the window. I know that some of you may be watching from other time zones. Will you tell me one more time, where are people watching from? I'm right now in Minneapolis, which is where I'm doing my quarantining. I've seen at least one Nashville. I see some Florida. Yeah. Ooh, okay. And some people are asking questions. How much was raised? I think 3,000 total last week was the transfer. Hey, there is somebody from the UK. What a flattering scenario. What's up, California? Yes! Bainbridge Island. Awesome, man. Nashville. Oh, I'm totally moved. Oh man, I'm also totally moving into my cookware behind me. Those of you who were here last time saw it, but at local time, at 8 p.m. here in Central Time, there's a small gesture that a lot of people are doing just to say a quick thank you to the health workers in their communities. And we'll tilt you a little bit here. I'm standing right now in my 1-bedroom apartment. We are in the kitchen/dining/foyer/reception area at the moment. But I'm going to open my window. There's a cold front coming in. And at 8 p.m., people just lean out of their windows and clap. I don't know if that trend is going to catch on or not. Every time I sort of lean out to listen if anybody else is doing it. But I'm doing it, damn it. And if there are health workers who are watching, thank you. Thank you. It's got to be scary and hard and all sorts of challenges that I don't even know enough to imagine. But a lot of us appreciate it. And that goes also to the janitorial staff at hospitals, to the support staff and reception. And of course, to all y'all working at grocery stores. Thanks. We were relying on you so immediately. Okay, I'm leaning out. I am trying the patience of my neighbors. And I don't care. Okay, let's go back to the reading zone. Yeah. Oh, cool. Somebody said that they're doing a howl in Berkeley. Well, that's very Berkeley, isn't it? Tits on the moon. The moon's gravity is only 1/6 of ours. My tits would be awesome there. Taking a bath on Earth, breasts float. The liver lifts off the kidney. The small of the back arches up and off the bottom of the tub, curling like an instep. And very quickly the body forgets. forgets everything it knows about gravity and burden bearing. It's a house cat who is whisked through the legs of a visitor, out the screen door, into the night, and even before she's off the block, she loses all recollection of what her life has been. The food dish in the afternoons, the name you call her, the collar around her neck, whose tag may as well now be blank. There are two ways to end a bath. In movies, women step out of the tub and into a plush towel, often reflected in a steamed mirror in deference to the censors. I prefer to pull the plug and let it drain around me. The organs settle heavy on each other. The breasts flatten down against the ribs. Hair clings to everything it can. And the body is re-yoked to itself. The posture that was appropriate for floating looks limp and broken now. The steaming human form on the bottom of the tub looks like it might have fallen there. The porcelain crater a product of the impact, or maybe it was dropped there from the jaws of the house cat, out all night, play hunting. Whatever you get when you take a bath, the bath takes back. And those 5/6 are yours to carry. Is that cool? It didn't feel cool. Okay, I'm going to show, before signing off for tonight, I'm going to show that Venmo donation information one more time. This is for the Domestic Abuse Project here in Minnesota. And, I got to thank the production team who makes an evening like this possible. So first, for all the good work that you do, DAP, thank you. For Tom on graphics, thank you. Appreciate you, bud. And to myself for hair and makeup. Hey, I hope to see you guys next week. We're doing fiction. Good night, everybody.